Hey, folks, we're live, Arsenal Fan Circle. I hope everybody's doing well and good. I've got Gary with me, and I think Mahir is going to join momentarily. Gary, I'm feeling a little bit optimistic. They got me again. Arsenal have got me again. Whether it's the marketing crew, I've got me with some slick videos, or if it's just Burnley. And I think Burnley's more our level, Gary. We
That's the
should be able to.
scary part. That is the scary part. I mean, they should not be. They should not be, but they are. Oh boy. Oh man.
Yeah,
But
first
yeah.
of all, you have to find your level in this league, and hopefully, we find our level that I'm going to say 2 goals better than Burnley. That would be my prediction. We're going to win 2-0, 3-1, something like that. What do you think?
Yes, that's what I want. I want to win. So right now, at this point, I'll take any kind of win. I want to see players, excel from what they've done in the past. So 2 goals would be really good.
Yeah,
But I think we're better than 2 goals, especially in this game. If we come out and do what we're supposed to do. Um, I Yeah, I mean 3-1. It sounds like a good idea. Good estimate. As far as how the game's going to go.
yeah.
So yeah,
And so I
yeah,
put a predicted lineup out for me, and I'm going to just show it up
Ye-
here.
yeah. I did see that, and I was
You
kind of
can
looking at that.
feel
Yeah,
free to pick it apart, agree, disagree with anything I'm going to put up here. And
I mean these are all see that, and that's the thing I was telling you. These are all wishes, right? These are
yeah,
things we wish to see based on what we've seen so far, and it's like, can we you know take out those players that we think are not helping out the team so far and put somebody in and give them a chance. So,
yeah,
uh,
exactly. So.
and then the other side of that is when those players do come in, they got to play like their life depends on it, man. I mean, you can't. There's no time to take any time off. Plays off. No, you got to play 90 minutes or however long you're going to be out there. So you want to see the best out of them. So yeah, no, I do
Yeah,
like. I do like. I mean, Maitland Niles, I believe, should get an opportunity to play. The one thing based on where he's been playing lately, he's gonna, does he move up to the middle, right? You know, and I think if he moves up to the middle, typically that would be with a three at the back, right? If he's gonna move
mhm,
up,
mhm.
I don't think he's gonna move up if we're gonna have two in the middle, right? There's two midfielders because I see you have El Neni and Ceballos there,
Yeah.
and
So basically, this is my formation, and I think Darren doesn't like it. So let me know what you don't like about my formation. This is what I predicted. In exactly 6 minutes from now, the teams will be announced, and Gary will let us know what they're like. But Gary, I was thinking of a 4-4-2 or maybe a 4-2-3-1 formation with this. So Elneny, Ceballos in midfield. Lacazette may be that creative force behind the front three of Nelson, Aubameyang, and Saka on the left.
yep,
And like you said, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, he adds a calmness to the team. His play is quite languid in a certain style, like almost like an Ozil style. You don't think he's putting the effort in there, but he does have that athleticism. He has that calmness around that belies his years, really, Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
yeah. I mean, I do like him out there. I mean, he's definitely confident, and that's what we want, right? Players out there that feel confident in their play. And other players, I don't feel they feel as confident about their play out there. So yeah, we
Mhm.
want that confidence out there. He deserves a shot. I mean, who he deserves a shot. He deserves a chance. I'd like to see something a little bit different. Can't be.
So Norma's convinced here that Bellerin is going to be playing, and I can't blame her for being convinced that Bellerin is going to start, Gary. But for you and me, we don't want to see Bellerin.
That is true. Yeah, I mean, the fact, yeah, as soon as you put Bellerin in there, everybody's like, well, we'll just wait for it. We're gonna wait for that opportunity where Bellerin has to make a defensive play, and
Yeah,
time and time again, he hasn't been able to do that, or he hasn't even been in the picture.
yeah.
So,
So welcome everybody into the chat, into the pre-game pod. This is the warm-up podcast, and we will be going live pretty much on the full-time whistle in about 3 hours from now, Gary. So. Momentarily, the teams are going to be announced, and we'll be able to see what happens. Darren does not want any draws, Gary.
No draws, but the most important thing, Diane, is what? Yeah. The most important thing is that we don't get embarrassed, right? Yeah, that's it right there.
Yeah,
and that, you know what? Embarrassed can come in a loss, a win, or a draw. That's the thing, right? We're gonna go out there. We're gonna give 90 minutes of effort. If we see if we feel like the team's giving us everything, it's just a bad day, bad luck, or whatever it is. Bad call, doesn't really matter. But if the team shows effort, that's what we want to see. Got to start with one thing, and that's the first thing I think. We need to see 90 minutes of effort from everyone, so we can't embarrass ourselves out there, and that's easy to do. That's an easy thing to do.
Yeah, Gary, we have the upset predictions, and I actually was going to go for Everton Chelsea. I'll get to you on the post game podcast on the other thing. Very, very happy. But you're very, very happy Crystal Palace took a point off. Got a point with Tottenham, right?
Yes, definitely was happy about that. Yeah.
So, but I'll rise you about that in the post game a little bit.
And you'll see also that Liverpool was able to get one back, get a point, maybe is right now tied. So
Liverpool won, Fulham won.
Yeah, it was a penalty. I didn't see the penalty, but I saw the penalty shot. So yeah, so now it's tied. And
okay, so question for you, Gary, is hold on. 1 second. Will Arteta reward?
Okay. All right, you ready?
Yes, ready. And this will answer my caption here. Will Arteta reward the young guns? You don't like it?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I mean, let's just say our bench is made up of Maitland-Niles, Ceballos, Willock, Smith-Rowe. So that's a positive.
Yeah.
So our bench looks I did state that at least I want to see these players that have been playing well get an opportunity to be on the team and have an opportunity to play. So Maitland-Niles and Smith-Rowe get that opportunity. Willock is also there. So by that,
Bellerin's in the team.
By that, I gave you my look.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much has changed from the last game. I don't believe anything's changed from the last game. So you've got your back line. You got Leno in between the sticks. You've got Bellerin, Gabriel holding in Tierney. It looks like.
Yep.
And then you've got El Neni and Xhaka in the middle.
Yep.
And then you've got what I believe, I guess what we're going to think is that you're going to have Lacazette playing behind Willian, Aubameyang, and Saka if they go with that formation. All right.
So I've changed 3 players. The ones that I wanted to take out are still in the team. So if anyone was watching this podcast just before this is announced, I actually had taken. Well, I'm going to change this to it's Arteta's team now. Right? It's not my team.
That's for sure. I don't think it's anybody's team.
Arteta's Arsenal team. So this is the teams announced live. Bernd Leno in goal. Bellerin retains. We don't know why he retains. As for me, as long as you see Bellerin, Xhaka, and Willian in the lineup, we're already at a disadvantage, even against Burnley. Gabriel, I've been outstanding this season. Holding, I'm going to give him another chance, but beside Bellerin, the 2 of them are just an accident waiting to happen. Guard.
Yeah, I
don't
believe holding is as much the issue for me because I think you're only as good as kind of the people around you. On one side, he's got Gabriel, on the other side, he's got Bellerin. So he knows where it's going. He should know where any problem is going to come from, and he should prepare for that. And he should know ahead of time what he's going to do. I don't think he thought about what would happen if Son came down the line with nobody else there. Hopefully today he'll know what's going to happen when Bellerin gets beat. He needs to be able to back him up, or Bellerin's nowhere to be seen. and they come down that side. I mean, you're a defender. You're supposed to think 2 and 3, plays before it actually happens, right? And you need
See
to figure out,
danger.
see
See
danger,
danger before it happens. Right.
and that's his job. That's his job. That's
So
his
you're
job.
saying Arteta should have known that Son was going to come down the left-hand side last week.
Definitely,
Yes,
definitely.
I like it like everyone else knew. Everyone else with an Arsenal hat, an Arsenal shirt, an Arsenal dog, an Arsenal scarf. They knew what was going to happen last week.
Yeah,
Now,
you know what the danger is on every team, right? So Burnley, where's their danger, right? We assume it's going to be with their attacks, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and where's our weakness right now? On the right-hand side, it seems most times, right? So
yeah.
whoever's playing that side, you got to. I mean, this is team sport, right? So you're gonna have to know, back up your teammates when they make either mistakes or they fall down or whatever the case may be. You got to be prepared, and
Yeah.
once again, he's gonna have to be prepared for it. Burnley
So
should not get the opportunities. They shouldn't. So if Bellerin does take off down the side and gets into the box, they should, Burnley should get punished for that. That's a long way to go to get nothing out of it, right? So please don't, DWTT always I've told you it stands for don't waste a trip, and if you're going to make that trip all the way down to the final third, just get something out of it, right? Let's
yeah.
not waste the opportunities. I mean, he's going to put a cross in, if he's going to put a pass in, if he's going to take a shot, I'll take a shot over a missed pass all day. Especially from Bellerin. I don't think I'm going to expect to see these these shots go over. I think I'll see something better from him than some other players. So
Balogun is not on the bench, right?
I thought,
Right.
yeah, I gave you, yep, I gave you the the good side of the bench, but yeah, he did not make the bench.
So we got Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Ceballos, Willock, and Emil Smith-Rowe on the bench.
Those are the ones that I'm happy about. Then you've
Yeah.
got Eddie Nketiah, Ceballos, Mustafi, and Renarsson, which Renarsson we're going to expect. Ceballos we would expect, I think, to see. Mustafi, yeah, I don't know. With Maitland there, do you need Mustafi? I don't know. Maybe I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think with the Smith Rowe and Willock there, I'm assuming that would mean if we need to come in and put a little bit more pressure on them, we can do that, right? Maitland Niles is more for our defense and maybe to open things up if things slow down with Bellerin. That's what I would hope, right?
Mr. Bungle said, William again, you're kidding me? Nope, we're not kidding, and this is ridiculous. William has to be related to Arteta in some way, Gary.
Yeah.
Have to be related by blood or by marriage.
Yeah, I mean, according to the manager, they're all doing what he wants. So 3 losses in 4, I guess, is and doing what you want, I guess, is what he expects, which I don't know. That's not good if you're expecting losses, right?
Yeah, Stan said this lineup is just more of the same. This bollocks. Agree with that, Mr. Bungle. Burnley should be a walk in the park, surely. I mean, even if Burnley is a walk in the park and we win 2-0, Gary, what have we learned from this lineup today that we're going to see? My only saving grace in this whole lineup is that El Neni's in there.
Yes. Yeah.
That's all. Yeah. That's all that I see. This progressive. We know Saka is a decent player. Saka is a young kid though, and you know what's going to happen to him, Gary. He's going to get kicked off the park today by Burnley.
Well, that's any day he's playing one of those teams that we have an opportunity to attack. He's going to be the threat, right? So yeah. And you know what? He's got to be smart about that. So he knows when he gets the ball that they're going to be coming at him a little hard. So he's got to hopefully learn from that. Hey there. Oh, look at that. Got the...
Okay. Hi, Mahir. Gunded News. Give me your reaction to the lineup. It's more of the same as Stan had said. We still have Willian on the right wing. We still have Granit Xhaka in midfield. And we still have Ballerina in the right back position.
If you wanted to see change, we discussed this. As you guys won't know, but I said today, Why not experiment? If big change is needed, why not go with a Europa League squad? Why not have an Emil Smith-Rowe on the bench, for example? Why not have...
Well, to tell you, he is on the bench today. Emil Smith-Rowe, Willock,
Okay.
and Ainsley Maitland-Niles are the highlights that are on the bench. The good
But
players
why,
are Willock, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and Emil Smith-Rowe are on the bench today.
but why not have them in the squad? I'm tired. You know, we played...
You mean in the first
fight,
team? They are in the squad. They're in the first 18.
but we played the shite and we didn't learn our lesson. He's insisting on Rob Holding. Do not trust Rob Holding. I do not trust him. And Bellerin again. And Xhaka. And William.
Well, who are you gonna, one, who are you going to put in for Holding? And two, I actually don't think he's that bad. I think he's being left out to dry, and so he's looking even worse than he should. That's me.
Here. Yeah, would you put Colonel Mustard in there instead of Holding?
I'd go for Pablo Marie.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah. You know what? As
He's
far
injured.
as Mustafi on the bench, Marie would have been nice to have on the bench. I think he also has been playing good right in Europa. So I think Marie is long term. Mustafi is not. Right. I mean,
this is the comment so far. Mr. Cluso has the three amigos playing again. And we all know who the three amigos is. We don't need to announce it's Hector Bellerin, Granit Xhaka, and Willian. You know, Bellerin.
What's disappointing about it though is, say we have a good game, then Arteta is going to be thinking, you know what? Oh yeah, see, I told you. And it's like, you know what? That's not this. This is not the game to say, all right, those three are working. That's not what we're, you know, I don't think that's how you can gauge whether it's a success to play those three. Yeah.
Republic of Arsenal will be joining us in the post-game podcast. So join us in about 3 hours from now after all the dust is settled. Evening, lads. Looking forward to chatting to you after the match. So Anthony will be making his debut on Arsenal Fan Circles. So come back and watch that post-game. Hopefully it's a win. But it may be a win despite the team selection, like I said, Gary, that we're going to put out there.
It should be a win no matter who we put out there, right? It should be. I mean, we have enough quality players that it should be. You know, we need to get some of them back into form. You know, the Lacazettes, the Aubameyangs need to get back into form. We need Gabriel to do what he always does. Tierney to have a better game offensively. To some degree, I think his defense is solid most of the time. Saka needs to be on the attack, right? We need if they're trying to clip him and bring him down, then we know it's a good day.
Okay, right? So yeah, exactly, Gary. Mahir, last week I had Norma telling me, chill, Willian will score against Spurs because he always scores against Spurs. Today I've got Glenn telling me to chill. Willian and Bellerin will both assist. Can you back that up, Glenn? Can you back that up?
That is hilarious. Glenn, you are so funny. I pray that happens.
Yeah, I mean, if this is our number one team, then I would expect us to have a really good game today, right? If this is the team that he wants, so yeah.
Mahir, with comments from Mr. Bungle, if we lose this, I want Lego hair sacked. He's only making a rod, you know, to whip himself with here.
Yeah.
If it goes wrong.
You know what, guys? I actually want to release a episode of a podcast of either ours or Garnet News where I read this very interesting thread on Twitter, and it actually came from a well-known gunner called Lee Gunner. And I don't normally follow him with what he says, but it was no, don't give me that look. I don't normally listen to what he says, but the thread was based from Twitter, from almost like an Arsenal analyst, as if to tell us what exactly is going wrong each stage. Brilliant. I would love to even read it in my own, just to read it in my voice and just read from that thread.
Send it to me. I'll have a look at it, and we'll see if it's worthy of speaking about. You know what I mean? Football with Brownie. All right, lads. I really did have an Alan Partridge moment last night. whatever that is. Okay, so Gary, how do you see the game sort of panning out? Do you see us struggling till halftime?
We shouldn't. I mean, that's my expectations are we shouldn't struggle, but our form says we will. They're going to do what most teams are going to do against us, right? Sit back and wait for us to make a mistake, right? We are, prone to doing mistakes either with turnovers in midfield or just not getting back on defense. So prove us wrong, man. Prove us wrong that you've learned something from the last 4 games.
There's no evolution of thought here. I don't see any progression in your thinking. You're doing the same old thing, and you're expecting different results. Now, it's Burnley, but we face mid-table teams. The teams 12th and upwards, we're not going to win with this team on the field. No. Same problem here, counter-attacking team. No width, no wingers, no dribblers, no creativity. This team is just crap. Can't disagree with that. We've seen this for weeks now. The same team.
Well, the one nice thing, hopefully, is that he can make a change at halftime if he doesn't like what he sees.
Yep.
It'd be nice to bring in a Emil Smith-Rowe to kind of open things up for us, right? I mean, that's the one plus I see is that we can make a change pretty quickly if we need to. Even within 30 minutes of this game, we can make a change because I would like to see him come in sooner than later. I mean, that's the one change that we can make, right? The other, Willock and Maitland aren't going to be able to change the game positively in the sense of our offense. So that's the only. I mean, Ceballos maybe also late in the game will help, like he's done in the past when he's come off the bench, right? So they've got some of that on the bench in terms of getting positive and moving forward. But
yeah, it's going to be toxic if we lose. And welcome in to Robin. Thanks for joining us again. We'd like to see repeat viewers coming back for more and more every week, and it's a really good thing. GK, thanks for your comments, and you have a great question for me. Ray, honestly, do you think this team is better than the team Emery had? We actually had creators, but no wingers in Ramsey and Mkhitaryan, and Laka was leading the team in assists. Completely agree with you. We had a lot more under Emery when he was starting out. We had Aaron Ramsey, who was a player who I really, really loved, and this team needs an Aaron Ramsey right now. We needed him back there. Biggest mistake we ever did was not giving him the contract that he wanted because we had given Ozil the big payout, and we've paid. I think if missing one player here has hurt us in the last 2 years, it's been Aaron Ramsey, and that is despite the amount of injuries that he had. I still would take Aaron Ramsey. Maybe not at this point, but I would have kept him when we needed to.
Yeah, I mean,
we paid 35 million in wages to Ozil alone. Just wages, which is crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean, the one thing about Ramsey, like I'll say, I mean, it's like a broken record. Maybe, you guys are okay with that. Maybe not. But the Ramsey deal, to me, I can understand. If I knew what I knew, now that the management and everything that's going on above the managers and the coaches was solid, then the Ramsey deal made sense to me in the sense that they didn't want to spend money, but they've proven that they're going to waste money anyway. So Ramsey is a known quantity. We know what we're going to get from him. We got to keep him healthy. That was the key for me, is that I was so, I get upset because he would come in, give us about 2 games, and then he would get hurt within the next 2 games, and we would lose him. Then he would come back and then do the same thing. I never got to see the consistent play that I wanted from him. When we lost him, it was basically big deficit to us. So
yeah. At that time, the time we were making the run to the Europa League final, Ramsey could only play once a week, and I still go back to this man here. We did a Watford away from home where we won that game with Aubameyang closing the ball, the keeper down and scoring. Ramsey played in that game, and he played in Italy where he got injured. Ultimately, that was his last game for Arsenal. Still go back to that. We called it out at the time, I hear, that Ramsey could only play 1 game. And, unfortunately, he played 2 games and he paid.
For the price, do you think it's worth to have him on to spend that money on him if you're going to get maybe 1 game out of 3 or 1 game, every week?
One game out of every week, I would have taken that. He doesn't need to play in the Europa League now. He wouldn't have needed to play in the Europa, and we would have saved him for the league. I hear smiling for some reason. We should have kept Emi Martinez and Sal Leno. Yep. I mean, that's the discussion we had as well, Gary, at the start of the season.
No, I would like to. The fact that we were cash strapped, right? We needed the money. Leno made more sense to me. That you could have gotten, we would have gotten the same kind of quality play, I think, out of either one of the goalies. So if money was the reason why we were selling him, then you gotta let the one that cost the most money go, right? If you got two players that are worthy, what's the difference? I mean, like Stan says here with the Ramsey, 20K sounds like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a lot more than that, in the sense that they didn't want to spend whatever it was, the 100,000+ on
It sounded like
that was
300.
aging. Well, a player that was aging, right? They didn't want to spend that much money, regardless of whether it was a little bump in salary.
Again, Gary, though, we were talking about this in the green room before. If we saw a policy where the club was doing this consistently, we could get behind it. But the club has obviously misspent money in recent acquisitions. Now, we picked up, as someone said, Partey and Gabriel. They've been good finds this season. But Willian and a couple of other things that we've done in the market does not make sense financially.
Definitely.
Iwobi as well. He's had 6 assists his last season with us. So, Mahir, remember we were talking about Iwobi. We wanted him to kick on, and I'm not saying he's lit up the Premiership under Everton, but he is a busy kind of player that we certainly have seen to be difficult to replace that kind of player in our squad.
It's just unfortunate that a lot of our star players. I was just discussing with my cousin yesterday. We had a really long, in-depth conversation about Arsenal, and I was saying, he loves its own Lacazette. FIFA boy Darren's in the building. Shout out to everybody. We had an in-depth talk about the Arsenal and everything that's going wrong and maybe how to fix it. And one of our things was that he was like a very big supporter of Aaron Ramsey, the Welsh, and he was telling me, yeah, but you wanted him out. I said, no, I didn't want him out. Based on the things like higher wages, I was convinced, like Gary, I think it was like 300,000, so like an increase of 100. Didn't know if it's only 20. I mean, big mistake. But also based on consistency as in injuries. Are they injury prone? Do they come back and just give us a few games and then our medical staff are maybe not doing enough to always keep them fit? Yeah, man, we did it with so many players of quality. You guys remember Theo Walcott when he first came? The likes of Jack Wilshere. Man, like we were very unlucky that due to 1 or 2 major injuries, and then from then it just declined, and we couldn't help them catch along.
I think the things that I noticed with that is that we just don't have that one big player in the middle there that, or at least kind of instill some fear in the other players on the opponent side, right? Who's in there being the bouncer, the enforcer. I can think of the word there, but yeah, who do we have in that middle there, right?
Like a Vieira type player.
Our players are getting beat up, and we're not able to actually return the favor to anybody. When we do, it's with players that just don't really know what they're doing, and they end up getting a yellow because they're just a little bit out of control. So yeah, that's another thing. That's why some of these players that we say we want is because they are they epitomize the type of footballers that we want on that you like to see and you cheer behind, right? Because they go out there and you may try to beat them up, but it doesn't matter. They get right back up, or they instill some pain on the other side.
Yeah, exactly.
Desamble always put some decent comments in there. Gabriel and Partey would have worked well with Ramsey. Oops, he's not with us. It's the Arsenal way. Forever a player short.
Yeah.
GK. I didn't want Ramsey out. It's the most consistent season we saw from him in a while. I was just disappointed in the way he left. And you can blame the club for not securing his contract. Yeah. Again, Gary, Arteta talks about non-negotiables, and again, the non-negotiables are non-existent for certain players that are seems to be his acquisitions, his players. Get favored and get favored in not what you say but what you do kind of way. You
Yep.
know?
No, definitely. And we're seeing that from not only what I feel is like on the field, but also off the field. Actions that they, I personally I would like. He says non-negotiables, but it's one of those things where, what is that? What are you talking about when you say that, right? And we never know. On the field, we're seeing things that we're not. He was surprised in one of the games, right? That's what I believe he said, or that's the way it seemed to us. Nothing changed after that, so obviously that wasn't. So there was no need to fix what he was surprised to see from his players. So they let him down. He was surprised, speechless about it, and he came back with the same team. So that kind of going back and forth on what's what you want to see and what you're getting, and then making changes based on that, right? I mean, the only change we know is that the players on the bench changes. That's it.
PG Ness, everything is going to be fine. Alcohol makes me see things clearly. And here's a really good point, Gary. GK was screaming for Bandia. Still can't believe no one went for him. In that game against Tottenham for Crystal Palace, he had a player that came up from the championship and is doing really, really well in Eze. And he played really, really well today, and he's going to be a find. Why can't Arsenal go into the championship and find a couple of players? It's not fashionable. Am I here?
Because that's not what we do. We don't look at Premiership
Not
players.
our DNA.
No.
Yeah, we don't want to. We don't want to. Yeah, we don't want to get players that can fill a hole for us, right? We know what our needs are. We know we need them to be able to play right away. Why not pick a player that just played in the league or who's played in the league in the past, come in and play? I mean, we know, and you know what? I think part of it stems from the fact that we can't do both sides of the business, right? We can go out there and buy anybody we want. We just can't get rid of them because we kind of set ourselves up to fail, right? Like Cantwell, Buendia, these are all players that are available to us now. I mean, we should, what?
Yeah.
We need those players, and I don't understand why we can't just, finish those deals off now so we can move forward with the next one. All right. Those are deals you can close right now, right? You can put the paperwork in or whatever you need to do, I believe, and get those players, right?
Yep.
The Watford player is Sar. Yeah. He played very, very well.
Yeah. I think there's enough. We always talked about, okay, if we're not going to get starters, at least let's improve our depth, right? The young players are good, but we need proven depth right now. The young players could potentially be good for us, but we don't know that until they play. And if they don't work out, we're still going to need the depth anyways, right? Because the starters we have probably aren't where we want them to be anyway. So, I mean...
Yeah. GK said, this is a good point from GK, and this is very important, that you can sometimes overlook players because although they're finding the strikers are not putting the chances away. And that's somehow, if you have an astute eye for these players, you don't just go by the strikers putting away the chances, you go by the amount of chances that the player is feeding to Pukki. So last season, a lot of people in Fantasy Football League were playing really, really smartly. They picked up Pukki. He started off like a house on fire, scored a lot of goals, but then tapered off for Norwich. And Buendia was feeding him a lot of good balls there. If Arsenal lose to Burnley, Mahir, will Arteta lose the dressing room and get the sack? It's going to be very, very dire straits. If he loses to Burnley today, we talked about it last week, a large group of Arsenal supporters will go from Group A to Group B, and Group B will be Arteta out, and Group A being, stay with Arteta. So very finely balanced, here today. It's a must.
Yeah, I love listening to the opinion of our subscribers and fellow Gooners, man. I love sitting with them and asking them, listen here, are you Arteta in? Are you Arteta out? What do you think is going wrong with the club? It's on a very thin line. If he loses today and loses to Southampton, then I think it would literally be done. But with the people I know at the moment, like my cousin and a good friend of mine, Yusuf Sibda, big Gunners, big Gunners. And I asked them, and they say it's a toss-up between Allegri and Pochettino. So United get one and we get one of the Christmas. So I would love to hear from our subscribers as well what they think. Do they think
There's Yeah, definitely let us know what you think. But I'm still sticking with Arteta, and my opinion may well change slightly if things go bad today. And as Gary said, your opinion can change whether we win, lose, or draw.
But the thing is, yes, that is 100% correct. And I love that the panel of us as well, are so passionate about what we speak about concerning our beloved club. But one thing I can't wait for you guys to see is that article. It's going to blow your mind. You're going to see things differently. No, really. Really. I wasn't paying
Yeah, you
attention.
could have just told me about it without mentioning.
I don't pay attention to it. I don't pay attention to what it
Yeah,
is.
you may put a scarlet letter on it, kind of. So
No,
that's the
All
fun.
right, send it to me, Meyer. I'll have a look at it. Send it to me. Next game, Gary. Next game's Burnley today. Southampton at home, Everton away, Chelsea at home, Brighton away. Those are the games in December.
And when we, I think when we started the season and we looked at that lineup, we said, all right, it looks a little tough up there. After once we played Liverpool, and it was going to be a little tough set of games there. And then towards the end of those 10 games, right? We're looking at the Burnleys and the Evertons and thinking, all right, well, you know what? Those are teams that are in our level, right? Right now, if our level is what it is today, then we're struggling. I like this. I like this little message here from the assembled. Little, little funny quirk there about the players
They have
that
the
want
wrong
to win.
attitude, Gary.
Yeah,
They want to win.
Yeah, I mean, and that's remember, like at the end of the last season when we saw players laying on the ground blocking shots and all of that. That's gone. We don't see it now. When's the last time you see a play go down like that, where it felt like everybody was in unison? The ball is coming into the box. We were all attacking and get that ball out of here. We're not seeing that, right? So, what is this here? You want to read that?
Say what you like about Mourinho and Tottenham. He's got them working as a team, and I'm so delighted that they dropped points today against Crystal Palace and they've got Liverpool coming up. So I do hope that Liverpool can take care of them as well. Give me a straight choice between Liverpool winning the league and the shite winning the league. I know everyone has the same answer, right?
Yeah, I mean, so it's the thought process always should be I want Arsenal to win, but I don't want this team to win. That's it.
Yeah.
Everybody else is this fair game because so.
GK, I think you're along the same lines as me, GK. Honestly, I think Arteta is going to come good, but I know this team is crap. The recruitment as well. But his stubbornness with the starting over Willian and Bellerin is so arrogant. And, I don't want to say a perfect scenario here, Gary, but perfect scenario is we struggle in the first half, 30, 35 minutes. We don't score a goal. It's dire. And Arteta we've been asking for these players to come in. The players are on the subs bench. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Willock, and Emil Smith-Rowe can improve this team if you slot them in. So we struggle. Put those players in, we win the game, and sort of those players kind of hit Arteta over the top of the head with their performances.
And that is a key thing, right? Those players have to make it so easy for Arteta that he doesn't have to think about whether or not he should bring them, get them maybe more minutes, right, or start them.
Yeah.
This is if you were trying to make a name for yourself, or you're trying to improve your career, Arsenal's the best place to be because you will get opportunities. Right now, nobody seems to want to hold on to their spot, right?
You say that, Gary, is the best place because you're going to get opportunities, but you get opportunities under the most extreme pressure.
That's what you want, right? That's how you want that. That's the only way it's going to work, right? You come in, we're down a goal. next thing you know, we're up to, we're winning, we win 2-1, right? That's what you want to be able to do, and so you come and you do those types of things, right? That's the only way it's going to work.
Is it fair to put Emile Smith-Rowe into the fire and say, go ahead and save this team today?
That mindset I don't like, right? Because I don't like that mindset because I don't like that mindset. I do believe you should be able to come in and and change things up for us. But if you're gonna discuss it that way with him and with that mindset, I think you're gonna overwhelm him, right? You should be able to come in and basically do what you do all the time, right?
Exactly, just do what you do, play your game.
They've been working at this for, he's been working at getting back for a while now. He knows what his skill set is. You know why? Hopefully he knows why Arteta wants him. So, and that's the thing. I think the fans might put a lot of pressure on him, but I don't think Arteta should. If he knows anything, if he's the manager and coach like we think he says, he's been classified as, then you know what? These players know what to do. Let them go out there and show it. They have the skills. So,
because Gary, I don't have any confidence if we're winning 1-0 and it's a dour game, 60, 65 minutes. We're winning 1-0. I don't see Arteta is going to be pushed into bringing Emile Smith-Rowe on.
There'll be no need to do that, but I would expect him to bring in Maitland-Niles, right? So if we're going to close out the game, we have a lead, right? That's what I would expect to see, especially on that right-hand side.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. There won't be enough time to be Arteta in or Arteta out. If he keeps losing, he has to be fired. How can it be any other way? The club, PG Ness, the club is notoriously slow to make these kinds of changes. And, I'm kind of behind that a little bit, but like Gary says, we want to see little improvements every week. Gary says this on every podcast. Like clockwork. We want to see tiny improvements going forward every week. Yeah. And if we do that, that means we're going forward. The club, I would like Arteta in an ideal world to have a full season. Now, in saying that, if we get to February and we're 15th, something's got to happen, right, Mahir?
Yeah, unfortunately, he's going to be given the wave. Like, sorry, my guy, it didn't work out. Because, like I just said, a lot of Arsenal fans are calling for Arteta's head right now. They are saying Allegri is available. We need an actual coach, somebody with experience. Doesn't have to be winning. We need a winning mentality, They say insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results, which is proving true right now. Gary, how many times are you and I on one where we're saying if William and Holding and the same players are going to be in the squad all together, game in, game out, doesn't matter what the result is, how do you expect change? How do you expect to see something and say, oh, that's our Arsenal? You could see they're playing for the badge. You can see they're playing for the badge and name on their shirt with all their heart, everything that they have. Instead of just
GKC's
recycle coaches all the time. You understand?
Yep. Yeah. GKC's another also situation with William. We have a lot of wages going to a player who's not giving us a lot on the field. And GK also says, I believe Arteta has a lot of backing by the owners and credit in the bank due to winning the FA Cup and the Charity Shield. And they gave him I believe that they're behind him no matter what. The question is, Gary, we have not improved. We thought that our attack would remain the same whilst improving our defense and trying to improve our midfield. And something has gone terribly wrong in our attack in that process.
Yeah, what they tell you, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And obviously, whatever we did, I think our defense has been better, right?
Yeah.
And we used to be a little bit more solid on the back. We're a little leaky on the back now. Yep. So, I think that's one of those things where Arteta thinks he's taking a step forward, but we're taking 2 steps back on our defense. So we're kind of like nullifying any attempts to move forward than we are to make sure that we're solid on our, going backwards, on defense. And that's what we're seeing. So if we were scoring goals, putting shots on frame, goalies having to make, saves, and we're getting a lot of blocks, I would feel like much better about this because then I could see some progress. We're doing 44 crosses, and maybe 3 are even close to being to hit any of our players. That's not helping. We're on the counterattack, we get destroyed every time. That's not a solid defense that he put in place, right? And everybody needs that. This is, we can look at holding, but I think all 11 players need to be able to understand what's going on there. So everybody, if you're not in that final third, and you should be making sure that the defense is protected, right? And you can't get beat on the counterattack. I mean, if we see it on tape over and over again, you expect the players to see the same thing. And if they've been allowed to keep doing the same bad things, then we're in trouble. And that's a case for dismissal, right? If you're gonna see, we're seeing the same things over and over again, and nothing's changing. At some point, somebody's got to say, "Look, you got to make a change here because you're not doing the right thing." Who says that?
Yeah, exactly. Mahir, is it a poison chalice, the Arsenal job? I don't believe so myself. This is about putting the right players on the field, picking the right 11, and I don't see that. I don't see the players that are performing on form getting on the field.
I don't know about it, but I can tell you that it might be poisoned due to from the top. So somebody at the top, we know who he is, poisoned the chalice and handed it down and handed it down and handed it down to all his yes men. I know we loved Wenger. We love Wenger, but after the years, he literally became a yes man, Wenger probably big players. Maybe you guys read his book. I haven't read it just quite yet. But they were saying something along the lines of Wenger wanted money to go and buy all these superstars and players to develop and build a team where we are giants, something like Bayern Munich. And the board just said, get lost. Get lost. We're not giving you 100 million. Get lost. And it carried on and it continued and it continued. And Wenger just had to do with what he had, basically.
Wow.
And sadly, during the last 5 years, what happened to one of the greatest managers in the Premier League? What happened to him? He became a shell of the man he was, the shell of a legend that he was when he was with us.
Yeah.
And then after that, we hired Unai Emery. Same thing.
Steady decline. So Arsene Wenger came in 1996. Wonderful 10, 12 years. 2007, 2008. 2008 we put a real good challenge in to win the league. Eduardo gets injured, but you start selling players like Robin van Persie to a direct rival. That's when you start to lose me as an Arsenal supporter in Wenger. 2011, 2012.
And guess what? Sorry to interrupt. And guess what? Not only are players going to rival clubs, we're not using that money to find a suitable replacement for that star player, which made us decline even worse. Because then you're buying average players, players that are absolute rubbish, and trying to fill those holes. And like even if you're buying two players at 20 mil a piece, so this window 40 million spent. Next window, 40 million spent. Next window, 40. You spent 160 or 120 million on about 6 players that are absolutely bang average or absolutely shite.
Yeah, we've had a couple of good ones in there, but on a large extent, it hasn't been great. All right, so let's wrap this up, Gary. The team, it's not what I expected because I expected Arteta to start catching on to things pretty quickly here, and it hasn't happened aside from El Neni in the team. He's not going with youth.
Yeah, so so we're going to see the same thing. We were playing a lesser talented team, so we should expect to see a better performance from us, right? They're not going to. The Suns and the Canes aren't playing this weekend, so we're not going to see that. But we are going to see a team that I think will give a better effort across the goal, across all 11 players. So I think that's where we can, we'll lose out on effort than anything. 50-50 balls, all those types of things, because this team knows where they stand in the where they're sitting in the.
One final question, Gary. Should we forget about the first half and miss it because we know it's going to be a bore fest? It's going to be dour. And in the second half, Arteta is going to bring Emile Smith-Rowe in and Willock and Mainsley Niles as well. Maitland Niles.
I'm going to watch it. I can't do that. Yeah, I can't.
Neither can I.
No matter, we could be on a 10-game losing streak, and I'm still going to watch them. So. I'm going to cheer them on because as soon as the whistle goes, then I want them to do well. So it's going to be, I'm going to watch them.
Yeah, me too. But don't expect it to be good. And we want to put a health warning on the first half for all Arsenal fans.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't even. You know what? It shouldn't even. If we have a seasoned manager in, or if Arteta has learned anything right from his past, employers and managers that he's had, it's okay to change things if you got it wrong, right? And change them earlier than not, right? If he sees something that doesn't work, he can make that change, right? Bring somebody in to change the flow of the game. So sooner than later.
We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there, Gary. The team doesn't give Robin any confidence at all. I'm the same. DK, thanks for joining. The Assemble, thanks for joining. Come back in 2 hours. Get something to eat, get something to drink, enjoy the game. I'm going to put a health advisory on the first half, though. Be careful, everyone. Check your hearts, check your heart rate. Gunda, the problem is the board they're the common denominator in the last 10 years. We sold the players. Arsenal gives the players contracts. So Mahir actually just left to get something to eat, and he's going to come back for the post-game show. We will have Republic of Arsenal as well joining us for his debut on the channel, and my old mate here, Gary, and we will see you. We're expecting, a 2-goal differential win?
Yeah, I'm going to go with 3-1. I know you said 2-0. I'm going to go with 3-1 because I just expect us to have a little bit of a blip, But I think the blip is because of the offense. We're going to open the game up, so we're going to get caught out, which is fine if we're dominating the possession, dominating the scoring opportunities. I'll take that because I feel like that's progress.
And I think the flow of the game will be such that the young players will have to come in. I'm just not confident, like a lot of you in the chats as well.
That would be perfect, right? That would mean that if they follow his instructions, and his instructions are to, put maximum effort in there, and if you need to come out, I'll pull you, right? That should be the play. We can't be saving for a rainy day. This is the storm, right? There's no rainy days coming. This is the storm right now.
This is it. You're not going to have many more days if you are Arteta. You're not going to have many more days if you don't win this game.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
All right, everyone. Come on, you Gunners. Let's get that win. We'll see you in a couple hours. And hopefully we're talking about a win then, 3 points. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And slap a like on the video before you leave and go enjoy the game.